All right, it's officially time. Hello, welcome to Stretch Break. My name's Amber Lankford, and I'll be running you through stretches today. For today's class, we are going to be in a chair for the whole class. For our chairs, I do recommend using a nice, stable, stationary chair, ideally without any wheels. If you do have wheels and you're able to lock them, please do so. Let's go ahead and get started. We're going to begin first focusing on our feet and our wrists. So we're going to start with feet first. So what I want everyone to do is to be sitting a little bit more on that edge of your chair, making sure that your feet are flat on the ground. We're going to start first with our right foot. I want you to lift that heel up, pulling those toes back underneath that chair. We're actively pressing the bottom of our toes down into the ground, and our ankle presses forward. You should feel a good stretch down the bottom of your foot. If you'd like to increase the stretch, you can slide those toes farther back underneath your chair, actively pressing down. That will increase that toe extension and increase that stretch. We're just going to hold this for a few more seconds. And then keeping that heel up off the ground, we're going to roll our toes under. So now the tops of our toes are pressing down into the ground. Ankle is still pressing forward, but we've now switched that stretch and we're now stretching the front of the ankle. You can even feel, in some cases, a little bit of a stretch up into your shin. We can also focus on our posture while we're holding the stretch, making sure that we're sitting up nice and tall. Our shoulders are down away from those ears. Let's do one more breath here. Lowering that right foot back down to the ground. We're going to switch to the left side. So lifting that left heel up off the ground, sliding those toes back underneath your chair, actively pressing the bottom of the toes into your ground, ankle forward. You should feel the stretch on the bottom of your foot. Let's hold for one more breath. And then we're going to roll those toes under. The tops of our toes are pressing down into the ground. Ankles pressing forward, switching the stretch to the front of the ankle and up into our shin. One more deep breath here. And exhale, lowering both feet back down so they're flat on the ground. We're going to switch to our wrist next. So starting with that right arm, we're going to reach our right arm out in front. Palm is facing down. We're going to take that left hand, grabbing your right, and you're going to pull those fingers and your right hand back towards your body, keeping that elbow nice and straight, feeling that stretch down your arm. One more breath here. Releasing your hand, flipping so now our palm is facing up. We're going to grab once again and then pull those fingers back towards our body, stretching out that opposite side of our arm. One last breath and relaxing out of that. Switching sides, left arm reaches out, palm is down to start. grabbing that back of your hands and pulling in towards your body. One more deep breath here. Releasing your hand, flipping so our palm is facing up, grabbing and pulling back towards our body once again. One last deep breath here. Releasing, bringing those arms back down to your sides. Next, we're going to take that right leg. We're going to lift our leg up, crossing that ankle right above that knee. We're going to go into a figure 4 stretch. So we're going to be opening up that right hip, actively pressing down on the inside of our knee, closer towards the ground. If you're unable to get your leg all the way up and on top of that thigh, you can straighten out that left leg and then crossing that right lower down, maybe on that shin or closer to your ankle, wherever you can reach. The goal is just to keep that nice figure 4 position with those legs, keeping that hip nice and open. Let's add a forward lean with that chest, bringing that chest down towards our thighs, making sure that that hip still stays nice and open. One more breath here. Exhale, sitting up, uncrossing that right leg, bringing that left leg up. We're going to crossing on top of the other once again, keeping it above that knee on our thigh, or once again, you can straighten out your leg and cross lower down on your shin or your ankle. One more deep breath. Leaning that chest forward. Bringing that chest as close to your thighs as you can while maintaining that open hip stance. One more deep breath. Exhale, lifting back up, lowering both feet back down to the ground. We're going to go into some seated roll downs next. So for these seated roll downs, we're going to widen our stance. So our legs are a little bit wider than our shoulders. We're in a little mini straddle stance. Hands are going to be between our legs, and we're going to drop our chin to our chest. We're going to round down, moving one vertebrae at a time, reaching those hands down towards the ground. Once you've gone as low as you can, you're going to inhale, and then exhale, rolling back up. Rolling back up to that nice tall seated position. Our head is the last thing to come up. We're going to do 3 of these today. Trying to get a little bit deeper into the stretch with each repetition. Very good. On this last one, we are going to hold at the bottom, letting our head and neck relax. reaching those hands for the ground. Holding this position, we're going to bring both hands over towards that right leg. I want that left hand to be braced either on that right foot, or you can brace your left forearm on top of that thigh. From here, we're going to rotate up and to the right, bringing that right arm up to the ceiling. Once again, you can have that left hand braced on that right foot or bracing that elbow on that right thigh. If this is a little bit too much pressure at that shoulder joint, you can also bend that right arm and place it back behind your head. The goal is to get as much rotation through our spine as you can. One last breath. Bringing that right arm back down, walking those hands over to that left side, rotating up towards the ceiling over that left shoulder. Once again, keeping that right hand on your foot or bracing your forearm on your thigh. Left arm can be bent back behind your head or straight, pointing up towards the ceiling. One last big inhale and exhale, bring both hands back down towards the ground and slowly rolling back up to our tall seated position. Once we're in our tall seated position, we're going to bring those legs in and we're going to transition to some shoulder rolls. For our shoulder rolls, we're going to bring our shoulders up towards our ears, rolling them back, pulling those shoulder blades together, pulling those shoulders down, rounding in the front, and then repeating, pulling them back up towards those ears. We're doing an exaggerated movement here. So we really want to get as much range of motion as we can. Let's switch direction now and roll those shoulders forward, pulling them back, opening that chest, and then back up towards those ears. Relaxing out of that, we're going to go into a neck stretch next. So taking our head, we're going to tilt it over towards the right, pulling that right ear to right shoulder. You can feel free to reach up, grabbing the top of your head and just putting some gentle pressure, increasing that stretch and opening up that left side of our neck. Releasing your head, lifting back up. We're going to switch directions, pulling that left ear to left shoulder. Using that left hand, you can reach up and put some gentle pressure down on the top of your head, increasing that stretch, opening up that right side of the neck. One last breath here. Releasing your head, lifting back up to center. Last thing we're going to do, we're going to lace our fingers together, Bending those fingers down and pressing our palms together. We're going to do a few wrist circles in each direction. Bringing both hands over to the right, circling down to the left, back towards your chest. Let's do one more in this direction. And then we'll switch and do two in the opposite direction. After that last one, you can release your fingers. And that is all the stretching I have for you all today. Thank you so much for joining. I hope you have a great rest of your day and see you next time.